Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of American Horror Story New York City, Episode 1, Episode 2. Guess what? We are getting 2 episodes of this show a week, so we will be here every week to talk about these batches as they come out.
I'm so excited that they're going to be giving us 2 episodes every single week. I mean, obviously that makes it going to be a bit shorter time we have the show, but watching these 2 episodes back to back, this season is so good so far. I'm so excited about it. Please, Ryan Murphy, stick the landing at the end of this. I've heard what you did to the Watcher. You did a great job on Dahmer. You can do this. I know it. I feel it. This is going to be good.
Okay, here's my problem.
Oh dear.
I've been scarred too many times by you. It's like I really like these 2 episodes too. I think I just got like this little demon that's just in my head, like keeping me from enjoying it as much as I should, because I'm just Ryan, I mean this is no offense, because you are a brilliant creator and I think you've got really good people working all around you, but I think there are maybe 2 seasons of American Horror Story that I think actually ended really well. Coven in 1984, and I think I'm the only person who really liked 1984.
I liked Murder House, but I think it should have ended the episode before it ended. But, you know, that's here nor there. I think it's tough for me because, I've been burned on some of American Horror Story, and I know you guys have as well. I've been speaking to you guys in the comments about it. But I still go into every season so excited, like it's Christmas morning, that it's all going to be just fine. And by the end of Christmas, at the end of the day, I'm feeling like I ate too much and things aren't going that well and it's time to go to bed.
With that in mind, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss any more Christmas analogies or American Horror Story videos for the rest of this season. We're also talking all about House of the Dragon, of course, and that epic finale is coming this weekend on HBO.
And White Lotus is coming up. We're going to be covering that here at the channel too. So hit that subscribe button. Follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Just TV, for even more.
Okay, we're going to talk so much about these 2 episodes, but I think just big picture, the thing I want to get off my chest here first and foremost is how frustrated I am by the way that this season was promoted. Like one of my closest friends I was texting with last night, and I was just sort of like, oh, I'm watching American Horror Story, and he's seen just about every season. He had no idea that it was on last night. There was no trailer that came out. There was just some posters. There was barely anything out there. And I think after you just mentioned Dahmer, the Watcher, Ryan Murphy has basically hit like 200 home runs in the past couple of months. Why would you not do something to get people to watch this show more?
Yeah, I was really surprised by the lack of promotion for it too, especially since, Dahmer's done so well, and it's a great show. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Ryan Murphy does true crime extremely well. So, I mean, that obviously Dahmer's based on real crime. The Watcher, also Ryan Murphy. I heard that the ending, he didn't stick the ending, but I mean, that's Ryan Murphy. But I heard the rest of the show, the journey's really good. Also based on true crime. And my understanding with this show as well, also based on a killer that was doing this exact same thing during the exact same time. I don't know. I haven't seen any interviews, so I don't know if he has said the killer that this is based on, but one of the killers that I had seen that was kind of around that time that was doing this exact same thing was someone called the Last Call Killer that was in New York, that was targeting the same people, that was dismembering people. It was the same sort of MO with all of that. So I don't know why he wouldn't have promoted this, because true crime is so hot right now, and it feels like really icky to say something like that. But for some reason, people are just like eating up true crime like is Cheerios. And with the success of these other 2 shows, loosely based on other crimes, or Dahmer based on more crime, why not promote this?
It's a really weird question, because I think one of the things that I think these 2 episodes do really well for now. We'll see how it goes, but what they're doing
I'm
really
hopeful.
well. I think they are merging together true crime and some of the, typical American horror story themes and ideas that we've seen over the years. Like, I'm not necessarily the biggest true crime fan in the world, but I like how it is sort of true crime adjacent, where I think they're taking elements of, the Last Call Killer that you mentioned.
Possibly. It's just a guess that it's him, but, it could be someone else.
I think it's a good guess that they're taking elements of that sort of stuff and then they're combining it, with things that were going on in the early 1980s, especially when it comes to health crises and some of what was affecting specific communities. But then they're also sort of taking in, I don't know if we can call them supernatural elements yet, but there's everything, with Big Daddy that we're going to be talking all about in this video.
Okay, since you brought that up, let's talk about who we think Big Daddy actually is, because we've had 2 episodes so far, and I like to think that we've met him already. So there was 2 people that I was kind of circling around in these first 2 episodes. By the time I got to the end of the second episode, I was like, it's not Patrick. I felt like they were maybe kind of moving that it could be Patrick. He's kind of the same build. He's a tall guy. He's hiding a lot of stuff. He's hiding stuff from his ex-wife. He's hiding stuff from his love, Gino. He's hiding this box. He's been hiding the handkerchiefs, that there's more about him. He's hiding from the police that he's gay. He's hiding from a lot of people that he is. And first I was kind of like, okay, it feels like with the handkerchief thing, I was like, okay, maybe they are building it that this is something that he's the person that's behind all this. But I actually don't think that that's it. I think Patrick is just, he is such a good character. I think he's so complicated and he's struggling to balance his personal life with his work life, that he knows that at this time period cannot cross over. And it was at that time that things were starting to shift and, people were coming forward more about who they were and being more out in the open about who they were. And other people were really scared. And then you put on top of it a killer out there that is targeting this whole community. And it just makes for this huge pot of just fear.
It's what this episode, or I guess these episodes, have done really, really well. I think that a lot of the characters are pretty well written at this point.
Yes.
And, Patrick is certainly among them. I think he's fascinating. I think he's kind of going on his own sort of journey of confronting himself and the reality of who he is and how he exists, while everyone else is sort of confronting these various fears and problems that are kind of coursing through this changing time. And this is what makes, on one level, it's almost comical that there's this villain named Big Daddy, of all things, an Adam Sandler movie. But at the same time, he's
also sort of the big bad on BioShock for any of you gamers out there.
Yeah, and imagine if this Big Daddy showed up in the BioShock suit. But no, anyway, this is such an interesting sort of villain, because you can argue that Big Daddy is sort of an abstract in as much as it is like a real concrete character, because it's easy to sort of point towards, someone like Sam, especially since Sam walks by Big Daddy near the end of episode 2 and sort of say, okay, is Big Daddy sort of a manifestation of Sam's darker side? Is this something, a character who kind of lives within him? Is there an attachment there? Or is Big Daddy sort of a ghostly figure that's never really there and is just sort of a manifestation of a lot of different people? Like, the big thing to sort of remember with a lot of these American Horror Story iconic, quote unquote villains, is that they're rarely ever what you think. Like, look at Twisty the Clown, who obviously did some really horrible stuff, but also very interesting, complicated backstory. Mr. Jingle, the 1984, is pretty similar. I could see something going along the lines here where Big Daddy is not what we think Big Daddy is right now.
Yeah, I think you've really sort of hit it on the head with Big Daddy and Sam. That, I mean, we saw Sam. Sam was someone who I was circling around as a suspect kind of right away. And then a little bit later, where we saw, he's working with Theo, and we saw somebody come to the studio and walk right by Big Daddy. And then when you get inside the studio, the only people that are there are Sam and Theo. And then, surprise, surprise, later when the photo subject is at a club, here's Big Daddy. And who knows that he's there? Theo and Sam. So I was kind of like, okay, Sam is, again, sort of the same build, the same height. We saw him walk by Big Daddy, and I was like, okay. And they're, for the most part, they're putting Sam in a bit of bigger clothes. So I didn't know if they were trying to kind of hide just how muscular he is so that people didn't put it together right away. But it felt like almost when Sam told Theo, yeah, okay, I know you have these questions about Big Daddy. We haven't seen him in years because he's dead. And I was like, okay, well, if Sam knows that he's alive, then either he is Big Daddy, or this is, like you said, something that's manifested in his head. This is someone he used to be, and he thinks he's gotten past it by doing some of the other things that he's doing, that he's like, oh, I've maybe channeled this into something else, and I'm not actually killing anybody anymore, and I'm not doing these things anymore. So yeah, Big Daddy is dead now, but not really. And that maybe we're looking at sort of an ending, or, we're going towards this of like a Fight Club where it's him and he's battling himself throughout this show, thinking that he's got it under some sort of control, but he really doesn't.
Zachary Quinto, and I say this as a longtime Zachary Quinto fan, dating all the way back to Siler. Okay, there are two types of characters Zachary Quinto plays: deranged people, Spock. There is nothing in the middle. And so it's like watching Zachary Quinto and like the cage like interrogation scene. It's just like, of course Zachary Quinto is playing some messed up individual.
He plays it very well.
He does.
Okay, so then we also have the whole storyline is going on with Gino, who's another character that I love this character. He's also really complicated. He's in such a tough situation. His boyfriend is a cop, is sort of has his hands tied. He's trying to work things on from the inside, but it's really difficult. He hasn't come out to anyone at the station. The cops aren't listening to anything that's going on, even though the bodies are piling up. It's just, he's in such a tough spot. But then we've got Gino on the other side that's kind of like, listen, maybe I can help with my writing because he's a journalist. And, I got 20 people who read my paper, but if I can continue to just get the word out, try to get people to hear, you could give me a little bit of information that maybe I can print. And it's, of course, causing a problem between them because Patrick's not being honest about everything. And Gino's confronted him on some of those things. But Patrick's also like, listen, this is an open investigation. I can't give you everything, but I can give you a little bit of something. I can kind of tell you where to go and you can do some investigation on your own. And then this is sort of where Adam comes in, who's another character that I'm so invested in Adam. Please don't kill Adam. Oh my goodness. So his friend has gone missing, met up with Big Daddy, and he's really trying to work with Gino to get the word out to anybody who will listen. It's so frustrating watching this because I feel the frustration from them through the screen of just like, no one's listening.
Gino, I don't think we've ever had a character on this franchise like Gino before, and that's what really, really excites me. Like, I was even trying to think back to like Lano Winters all the way back in like Asylum. And, there's maybe some parallels, but he still feels different. He still feels unique, and he's driven and frustrated. Because, Lano Winters ends up having this huge platform, and he is just routinely like banging his head against the wall. He can't get anywhere. And instead, the only place he really ends up in these two episodes is kidnapped, which at one point I was thinking, oh, we're going to lose this character who I think is amazing really early in the season. Luckily, that does not happen, but we are left with all sorts of other questions.
Yeah, because we meet Whiteley, who seemingly is the person that took Gino, and it's like, is he Big Daddy? I don't think so. There feels like there's some kind of connection that's going on, but like, what is the connection? I just don't think it's him. I don't think Ryan Murphy would show us exactly who it is right away.
I don't think so either. But I mean, this is also maybe fueling part of my concern for this season, just because one of the things that Ryan Murphy does do that sets himself up for failure so many different times is he'll introduce like 500 storylines, and it's like, okay, so we've got everything with Big Daddy right now. We've got, the individual storylines with Gino and Patrick and their relationships. All that's interesting, but then we have presumably Whiteley and what Whiteley has going on now. And then on top of all of this, we have what is going on with Hannah the scientist, the deer, Fire Island. Is like that disease already starting to spread? Is it I hope a lot of this stuff is connected and it's just not all like, a mess that's just like scattered throughout the city.
Yeah, I really hope that there is more of a connection and not Ryan Murphy being like, okay, I'm in this time period, so I have to hit everything that's in this time period. I mean, a show that does this very well that's within this time period is Snowfall. If you guys haven't seen it, it's excellent. Yes. It's one of the absolute best shows on TV that's in the 80s as well, but they've done a good job of hitting some of those things without being like, okay, we're in the 80s, we got to hit every single thing that's going on in the 80s so that it all, fits together. Look how clever it all is.
Here's at least what I'm willing to, say right now. And this is, I don't know if this is my tinfoil hat theory, I guess, for the next several episodes, is that I believe in Pat. I don't know if that's a mistake. He might still end up, being somewhat sinister. But I want to believe it. This is the thing. A lot of seasons of American Horror Story do not have particularly happy endings for characters, but some of them do. Sometimes we do get a little bit of satisfaction. And I think that we're going to see something big happen here. And I think it sounds weird to say it's a coming of age story for someone like Pat who's already lived a long life, but I think this is a coming of age story for Pat in the sense of him kind of becoming comfortable in his own skin and feeling empowered. And I think we're going to get there with him. And I think he is going to be the big character who turns the tide. I believe in you, Pat. Don't die.
Please don't kill Pat. Don't kill Gino. Don't kill Adam. There's a bunch of people on this cast. I'm just like, please, please, please leave these men alone, which makes me very worried I'm setting myself up because I feel like I'm not going to get all three of them at the end of this.
We're probably not, but you know what? It's still a good thing that we're only 2 hours in at this point, and we're really invested in these characters. I think they've been set up really well. While there are a number of things going on, perhaps too much, at least this was not Hotel, that every episode felt like it was 2 years long and they just like dragged on to no end.
No, these episodes went by like nothing. Yeah. Like nothing. It was so well put together. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I know I'm probably setting myself up here, but like, man, I feel really good going into this season with these 2 episodes. It's been a long time since I've watched Horror Story where I can't wait for the next episodes to drop. And that's why I'm very excited that we get 2 every single week.
Well, we will be back to discuss those, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and we'll see you here next time.